Hello everyone. This presentation will provide you with an overview of the New York State Unified Court System. There are 62 counties in the state of New York. The counties are geographically divided into 13 judicial districts, which are then divided among the 4 judicial departments. The 3 main functional levels of the court system are the Supreme Court of the State of New York, the Appellate Divisions of the Supreme Court of the State of New York, and the New York State Court of Appeals. Here you can see a visual overview of the civil court structure as well as the criminal court structure. There are 62 trial level courts, 1 per county in the state of New York in accordance with this locality. In New York City, the Civil Court of the City of New York and the Criminal Court of the City. Outside New York City, district courts, city courts, town and village justice courts, and county courts. In and outside New York City, the Supreme Court, the Family Court, the Surrogates Court, and the Court of Claims. Electronic filing of all documents in the Supreme Court is mandatory unless otherwise stated in the exception of rules. The jurisdiction for the Supreme Court of the State of New York in the New York City is as follows. The Civil Court of the City of New York handles claims for damages up to $25,000, small claims amounts up to $5,000, and landlord-tenant matters. The Criminal Court of the City handles misdemeanors and lesser offenses. The jurisdiction for the Supreme Court of the State of New York outside of the New York City is as follows. The District Court handles felony arraignments, misdemeanors and lesser offenses, and civil suits involving amounts up to $15,000. The City Court handles felony arraignments, misdemeanors and lesser offenses, and civil suits involving amounts up to $15,000. And some city courts also handle small claims up to $5,000 and/or landlord-tenant matters. The Town and Village Justice Court handles vehicle and traffic matters, small claims, evictions, and civil and criminal misdemeanors and lesser offenses. The County Court has exclusive authority for felony trials, misdemeanors and minor offenses, and also has limited authority for claims of damages up to $25,000. These courts has jurisdiction in and outside the New York City. The Supreme Court has general jurisdiction in the New York State. It has unlimited civil and criminal jurisdiction. The Family Court specializes in children and family matters, juvenile delinquency, domestic violence, child abuse and/or neglect, child support, custody, and visitation. The Surrogates Court handles cases relating to the deceased persons, their wills, estate matters, as well as adoptions. The Court of Claims has exclusive authority for monetary claims against the New York State. The New York State Judicial Districts map gives you a visual overview of the different counties divided into its judicial districts. The justices for the Supreme Court of the State of New York are elected. They serve a 14-year term. There's a mandatory retirement at the age of 70 with exceptions. The state legislature prescribes the number of judges for each judicial district. The appellate divisions of the Supreme Court of the State of New York is the intermediate level in the court system. There are 4 appellate divisions of the Supreme Court, 1 in each judicial department which is assigned by the locality. The electronic filing for the appellate courts will be determined by the court depending on the case. The jurisdiction of the appellate divisions of the Supreme Court of the State of New York is divided over its locality of the judicial departments. The court resolves appeals in civil and criminal cases from the Supreme Court of its original jurisdiction. The court reviews the civil appeals from the acting appellate courts, the appellate terms, and the county courts. The selection of the justices for the appellate divisions of the Supreme Court of the State of New York is through the gubernatorial appointment. The governor selects from among the justices elected into the state Supreme Court. The justices then serve at least a 5-year term, or until the completion of the 14-year elected term, or until they reach the constitutional age limit of 70. However, there are exceptions. The New York State Court of Appeals is located in Albany, New York. It is the highest court in the state of New York. This court's decisions are binding on all the lower courts in the state and its decisions will also be used as precedents for all the cases to follow. The court requires paper filing, meeting all the requirements set forth in 22 NYCRR Part 500.1. The New York State Court of Appeals has jurisdiction over all the civil and criminal appeals from the intermediate appellate courts. However, it will sometimes take appeals directly from the trial courts in some cases. It reviews the State Commission on Judicial Conduct decisions, which handles all the misconduct allegations against the judges. Furthermore, it makes rules for the New York State Bar for the attorney admissions. The New York State Court of Appeals consists of 7 judges, 1 chief judge, and 6 associate judges. The judges serve a 14-year term or until they reach the age of 70, whichever occurs first. They are selected through the gubernatorial appointment from the nominating commission, and the state senate consent is required. Jury trials are mandatory in the state of New York as guaranteed by the United States Constitution Article 5, 6, and 7. Jury trial waivers are processed according to the New York State Constitution Article 1, Section 2. Criminal felony trial is comprised of 12 jurors and 1 or more, but not more than 6 alternative jurors. Civil trials and lesser criminal charges are comprised of 6 jurors and up to 4 alternate jurors. These are the sources that contributed to this presentation of the overview of the New York State Unified Court System. Further readings into these sources will give you a more in-depth analysis of the court systems in the state of New York.